What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Operation Ivy, and another one more in their punk style, meaning they have that punk ska spectrum, and this one I would say is more of a straight up punk tune. And yeah, it's Gonna Find You, which starts with a bit of a spoken word section from lead singer Jesse Michaels, and then it addresses a number of issues. Indeed, this is a very wide-ranging song in terms of its social, cultural, and intellectual observations. It starts with a scenario where he suggests, have you ever been trying to walk, meaning, leave school early, and have some administrator catch you and say, hey, look, you can try to skirt your obligations, you can try to be different from your peers, but responsibility, your future, it's going to find you. And then he talks about how in the lottery of acceptance in the school of growing up, some kids don't make it and they get picked on and bullied, and their place is sort of found for them. It came to find them. But he also talks about kids who maybe are trying to escape from those brutal realities and taking too many drugs to the point where their bodies, get sweaty and they're shaking and they're, sort of disconnected in a biological way. And then he talks about being disconnected in an economic way, in the way that, what is the line? It's my favorite verse, something like, in a world where like a $ value system is upheld as the truth. Oh, what is it? I guess we'll hear it in a moment, but he basically says, that in that kind of world, for those who can't find some economic means to hold on, to survive, to maybe even thrive, well, their place is going to be found for them, and it's not going to be a good one. And he just goes through a number of scenarios in which the harsh realities about life are that you either find a niche, you're able to latch on to something that works, or the system will essentially churn you over and lead you to have few, if any, options, and increasingly undesirable ones. So it's a song that, again, it's critiquing specific aspects about political, social, economic life, and yet it's also making a broader point that on some level, and maybe I guess in a slightly existentialist way, you have to make your own meaning, and you have to be a bit lucky in that lottery of growing up, and you have to, hopefully avoid some of the worst outcomes, and maybe through all of it, if you're one of the fortunate ones, and if you have some sort of vision and some creative energy, you might be able to find a way that's at least not exploited by the worst aspects of the system. So yeah, it's a tune that I think is clever, and once more, shout out to Jesse Michaels and the rest of Op Ivy for their brief period that they were around, and despite how young they were, I think they really wrote a number of songs that continue to stand the test of time and are perhaps even more relevant and poignant than they ever were at the time. So let's listen. This is Gonna Find You by Operation Ivy on their one and only album, which I think is called Energy.
Back in school, you ever get busted for trying to walk and have some administrator tell you, son, you can shirk your obligation and try to be different from your peers, but responsibility of future, gotta find you, gotta find you, gotta find you, gotta find you. When I thought it keep me down, cause he was out of luck, the lottery of acceptance and let's go and run it up. Saw a bunch of coming suicide inside a cage. Evaporates when I score a big win. Gotta find you. Gotta find you. Gotta find you. Gotta find you. Science was stronger than his body's left to change. It's field education and the school and chief escape. Control the score of human thinking teaches only truth. Word of education. Gotta find you. 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 Start civilization, we're grabbing onto wealth. What's the only guarantee of freedom, peace, and health? $sign value system about as the truth. If you can't find a place, it's gotta find you. Start a paranoid response to all the examples. The ones who don't fit in this way of living getting trampled. Success is obedience to a structured way of life. Getting through the structure cause we're all within its sight. Gotta find you. Gotta find you. Gotta find you. Gotta find you.
saw a civilization where grabbing onto wealth was the only guarantee of freedom, peace, and health. $ value system upheld as the truth. Again, some of these lines, it's like the intellect and creative cleverness combined is truly impressive. And that line near the end where, we can't ignore this structure because we're always within its sight. It's the idea that a lot of these processes are multifaceted. They enter different sectors of life. They are essentially totalitarian. And so, again, even for those who are lucky enough to make it through that lottery of acceptance, who can maybe avoid, the line of like the school of self-escape, and even those, again, who can get through some of these pitfalls and the worst potential outcomes, you still have to deal with the exploitation. You still have to deal with trying to find your niche in a modern, technological, and impersonal, let's go with that, impersonal global society that is, at best, unforgiving. You still have to deal with it. You still have to find some niche to hold on to within it. So, again, I think it's a very cleverly written song. I do, in particular, love that one version of Gonna Find You where he goes into that, almost like villain-style laugh at the end of it. I really do enjoy that. So, top tune. Luca agrees. Why do you have to be all ridiculous when I'm finishing a video? But yeah, I realized, I sort of did an inventory of what remains that I haven't reacted to. Bad Town, which is one of the few songs with vocals by Lint, aka Tim Armstrong, and is way more down their ska end of the spectrum. Maybe the most ska tune they've done. I think of Bank Shot, that's definitely a, skankin' type of ska tune. That was maybe my first reaction from Operation Ivy. But yes, in terms of songs with, like, proper lyrics, I would say that Bad Town is maybe the most ska-like of all their tunes, but I haven't done Smilin', Caution, there's a number of other good ones that are still left to do. So we'll continue going through the Op Ivy catalog. Do let me know what you think of this, and Luca and I will see you next time. Peace.